Well, good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday here. And Nisha here. I'm so glad to be here with you all this evening. I am here again on behalf of Heart Life Ministries, our recovery program, our ROSC, which is a recovery oriented system of care. And what that is that we are the liaison and support systems through a grant funded program, partly funded in by the Illinois Department of Human Services as well as the state of Illinois to provide sources and resources for people in recovery through substance use, mental health, and then we can go on and move on to unemployment. We can move on to unhoused people, so many areas where we are linking people and connecting people and doing what I love to do best, and that is network with people to be able to get them the support services that they need. Now, we have a very special guest tonight. Tonight, we are going to grab your neighbor, grab your friend. Tonight, we are going to be doing a Narcan training. And to my surprise, I'll tell the story in a moment, but to my surprise, many people didn't know what Narcan was, including me, until about 4 or 5 years ago. And so I'm mentioning that because grab your neighbor, grab your friend, share this video. Narcan will save lives. So I'm going to go ahead and just invite our guest on in one moment. But have you all seen this floating around social media? What does your community need? And we have put this survey out here for the Will and Grundy County. And so we need you to fill out this survey, okay? What does your survey need? Your voice matters to the state of Illinois if you're in Illinois. Now, I know I have many friends that are not in Illinois, but if you are, we remember we did a live about this. We want you all to definitely tune in to that live video, but also for the why, but also to scan this code. And we'll put the link inside the our video, and so that you all will be able to share and fill out that survey. Okay. Well, without further ado, I'm always excited to have a guest, and I haven't done Nisha's Network in a long time, but on behalf of Heart Life Ministries, our Recovery 180 program called the ROS, the Recovery Oriented System of Care, I've met some pretty amazing people. And so I'm going to bring my very special guest on. Her name is none other than Mrs. Jan Dombrowski. Hi, Jan.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
And I would just have to say that Jan is one of those people that I believe it was a God connection, not just because of the field we work in, but because of her personality. Who she is a person that really has a heart for the people. And we were just speaking about how it can be a challenging job. It is a rewarding job because we know we are here to support people and to love on people and to find them help and hope so that we can help save lives. Just be that what do you call it, that support system, but also that beacon of hope that will help save lives, provide information and resources. But Jan, has you have been just such a blessing to me. And I honestly say that from the bottom of my heart, because when I hear your stories, some are testimonials, some are stories that may have ended in not so much a victory, but the victory is if we can tell the story, then it hopefully will help someone else. So I want you to introduce yourself just a little bit. Give us a little bit about what you do before we go into the Narcan training.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jan Dombrowski, and I am the executive director of HERO, which stands for the Heroin Epidemic Relief Organization. I have been with HERO for about 13 years now. I got involved because at one time my nephew, who used to live with us off and on, was a homeless heroin addict in downtown Chicago. And I thought I was helping him, and HERO taught me that I was actually enabling him. He called me one night and said, Auntie, I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten for 3 days. Can you please just bring me a couple bags of food? I'm not asking for money. So, me thinking I'm going to save him, brought him a couple bags of groceries, and he turned around and sold them for dope. So, I learned. That nephew now has, in November, he had 12 years sober. He graduated college on the dean's list, got married, bought a house, and they just had their first baby, little MJ, in July. So I'm very thankful for that. And then I have another nephew, it's my husband's nephew, who right now is in jail in Colorado, which I thank the Lord because at least he had a roof over his head and 3 meals a day. And a lot of people don't understand when I'm happy that he's in jail. But people
Mm.
who have lived this understand.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I thank you so much for sharing your own personal lived experience of having family members with victories, and then also they're still alive. That's a blessing right there. One is aliving to thrive and aliving to strive to thrive. And so
Right.
we thank God for that. Well, today I want to talk about us just diving into Narcan, and I know you always have a story, and I would love for you to share just a couple of reasons of what Narcan is. I mean, not reasons, but why we use Narcan, and this is the most important one I want you to explain. Um, why people don't need to feel like, oh, that's not applicable to me. Oh,
Okay.
I don't. Oh, my family doesn't do that, do those
Mm.
types of things, or not. I don't have family members on drugs. I just would like for you to just speak to the stigma that is attached to the why.
I get that a lot. I get, oh, not my family, not my kids. But then when there's other people around, that's what they say. Later on, I'll get a phone call saying, I didn't want somebody to know, but I have a child or a loved one who is struggling. Can you help? I probably get that a couple times a week. Actually, I was at a doctor's appointment the other day. Somebody parked behind my vehicle, and I had the Hero vehicle with me, and they didn't want me to leave because there's a sign on the truck that says Narcan available here. So I've gotten that a lot. The stigma is killing people, unfortunately. They are so embarrassed. I've dealt with the mom still that her husband and other children don't know that her one child died of an overdose because she's ashamed. What she has told them is that he had a heart issue. She has not let them see the death certificate, so they don't know what their brother or son died of. And you try to explain that it's a disease. My husband and I lost our 15-year-old son to something called spontaneous tuberous sclerosis.
Mm.
That in February, that'll be 19 years. And I talked to a woman yesterday and I said, your son had a disease just like my son had a disease. My son's disease, the first symptom a lot of times is usually death. With her son, it was an unexpected death also. But a parent's tears are the same no matter how you lose your child.
That's
And
right.
this poor woman whose son just passed away a couple days ago told me, I've never heard that before in all the years that she was dealing with him, that it's a disease and we have to treat it as such. If somebody's child has cancer, the doorbell's ringing, the phone's ringing, people are bringing casseroles over. If it's substance use disorder, a lot of times your phone's not ringing or nobody's at your door. Well, Hero makes sure that your phone is ringing or you're getting a text or we're coming to your door. Like I was telling Nisha earlier, I am going to help this woman plan her son's funeral. And that's difficult. However, it's needed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. So let's talk a little bit first about the Narcan and what it does. And what is it?
Okay. Narcan is the brand name. I don't know if you can see this very
We
well.
can see it, yes.
Okay. And this is what it looks like inside. And there's two in each box. So, very simply, well, Narcan is the brand name, and the active ingredient is called naloxone. Just like you have tissues or Kleenex. Kleenex is the brand name, tissue is what it is. So very easily, if there's five main neuroreceptors in your brain that Narcan affects. So if this is one of your neuroreceptors, the opiate's going into it like this, and it's telling your heart and respiration to slow down and and then eventually stop. So what Narcan does, it puts a lid on that neuroreceptor and it prevents the opiate from going into there. Usually they come through, or excuse me, wake up within a couple minutes. However, we are finding it's taking 3, 4, 5 doses of Narcan to revive people because of the different types of fentanyl. After 30 to 90 minutes, depending on their tolerance, what they've taken, and some of those issues, the Narcan will wear off. So if it's put a lid on it and it starts opening, so the opiate can get back into that neuroreceptor, so they can relapse, or excuse me, they can overdose again without using anymore. So one thing that I'm kind of excited about, there's a new opiate reversal medication called OPV,
Mm-hmm.
and the active ingredients in this is now methane. I can never pronounce it. NALMEFENE. And what I like about this is it stays in their system for about 11 and a half hours. The opiates stay in their system between 7 and 8 hours, again, depending on, what they've been doing and for how long. So this is going to be saving lives. Right now, we cannot get this for free like we can Narcan. However, the state of Illinois has a program where we can get the Narcan for free, and it's called the Portal. It's through the Illinois Department of Public Health, and we're trying to get OPV onto the portal. It is on the standing order for the state. And when I talk to people about Narcan and they tell me, oh, I don't know anybody, I tell them the story. I was driving into Joliet and I was stopped at a light and something caught my eye, uh, in my peripheral vision, and I saw a woman passed out on a bus bench. And a guy was standing over her and another woman was there. I rolled down the window and said, do you need Narcan? The one woman said yes. The guy said no. I threw a box of Narcan out the window until I could pull into the gas station and help. Long story short, this guy ended up being her pimp, and he just kept saying, oh, she's just drunk. But no, she was turning purple. So tried to give her Narcan. The police showed up then. The guy was standing in my way where I could not give it to her without thinking I'm going to get injured. So the police came and they gave her Narcan. She woke up right away. So,
Wow.
I had no idea I was going to need to use Narcan that day, but I did. And so I tell people I would rather you need it and not have it than have it and not need it.
Yes, yes. And a lot of people are not aware of it. And I just have to be honest. I mean, being naive, and some of us are naive, especially in the faith-based community. Why would we need Narcan on site? You just never know, right? And I've heard stories of even a friend of mine, her neighbor, she had Narcan in her house, but her neighbor's son overdosed and didn't have Narcan, but while screaming for help, they were able to get the Narcan there. So there are stories of and Opvi, I've never heard. I mean, I heard it from you, but that's something new as well, to people. But what would you say to people who like faith-based communities or communities that really feel like, why, or schools, or what would you say to them about just having Narcan on site?
Okay, as far as schools or restaurants or businesses, I would say that they need to keep it. They are protected under the Good Samaritan law. They cannot be sued. I mean, somebody can sue you for anything, but they're not going to win because of that law. Um, in Will County, in the last, let's say, 6 months, we've lost a 2-year-old and a 12-year-old to an overdose. We had a 6-year-old in the hospital with cocaine and heroin in her system. The parents did not know how to use the Narcan, so they just kind of sprayed it on her and then called Uber to get more Narcan. And it took this baby almost 4 hours to die. Not only do you need to carry it, you need to know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, then it's not going to be any good. And it's very simple. You remove it from this container, put this part in the nose, put your thumb on this red button, and then so you hold it like this, and after it's in the nostril, you push this red button. So it goes in the nose, you push the button, and it's sprayed and it's absorbed into the nasal passages. It's very, very easy to use. We do offer a free Narcan training. Everything we do is free. Um, and I think this is one of the most important things that you can carry. I know a lot of churches um, some churches don't want those people in their building, and I've dealt with that. And as a Christian, that's very hard for me to hear. Um, but
Absolutely.
I like the churches to open up their doors to people who are trying to get sober. We met in a church for years, um, and I, as a Christian, I can use that to help people because they work the 12-step program and they have to acknowledge a higher power. And so I'll
Yes.
ask some of them, "Can you tell me about your higher power?" And some of them don't have any, so I can tell them about my higher power, which is the God of the Bible. And actually, one of the people is getting baptized next week, so I'm
Oh,
really excited about
nice.
that.
Yes.
She's been sober now for about 3.5 years.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jan, for telling us about the Narcan. So, listen, you guys, our recovery program is going to be hosting a Narcan training once a month, every second Tuesday of the month. Every second Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. It is a virtual training, so you don't need to be in person. But I want Jan to talk about Hero because let me tell you, we had a show up recovery, which another one is coming up pretty soon. Um, Show up recovery for pastors and leaders, and some of the pastors and leaders were blown away by the Hero truck and everything. I want to show a few pictures about Hero while Jan is talking. Tell us a little bit about Hero, Jan.
Okay, Hero was formed in 2009 by Dr. John Roberts and Brian Kirk, who both lost a son to a heroin overdose in um, 2009. They formed Hero, got our not-for-profit status early 2010, and we've been out there ever since. We offer several programs. We have family support, which I facilitate. So if you have somebody who you care about who is struggling with substance use disorder and you're not sure what to do next, you can come to us. We meet every Tuesday night at the Alano Club in Crest Hill. My phone number is scrolling, so please call me if you need any information. We also have a grief support group for people whose loved ones died from the overdose. We have our educational program where we go into schools and talk, and we have people with lived experience who can speak, which is very impactful, very powerful. We also train law enforcement with our trailer. In there, we have hundreds of props that are used to either use drugs or hide drugs, or it may be how that your child is reacting that you might want to be concerned about. For example, we have what looks like an Apple smartwatch that you can liquefy fentanyl and put it in there and vape. We also have a hoodie and a backpack that you can vape through. So a teenager could be sitting in the back of a classroom vaping and a teacher wouldn't know. We have a computer mouse that it looks just like a regular computer mouse, but it's actually a working drug scale.
Wow.
We have all sorts of things. And so we
And
pass
these are
out,
things that you just don't have. These are things that people are actually using.
right.
Like my Apple Watch, it could be a vaping tool. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not yours. So this one's made specifically to trick people.
Oh, it's a prototype.
Yeah, it's paraphernalia. Yep.
Yes.
We have a water bottle that just looks like a regular water bottle that you would go to the refrigerator and open and drink. But behind the label is a compartment that you can hide your drugs in. We have what looks like a coffee cup that you would get maybe from Starbucks or someplace. It's actually a bong. And
Wow.
we keep up with the latest. So every year I go to the Rosemont Convention in what's it called? The Donald Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a convention called the Champs Convention. And I have a friend who owns a smoke shop, and he gets me tickets because the general public can't go in there. So we know what's going to be coming up next season. There's a lot of kratom. There's a lot of the deltas. They had a lot of weed, THC, you name it, they had it. And whippets are becoming more and more popular. And when I went to this one booth, the guy there told me, Well, this is the strongest you can get and still be legal,
Mm,
which
mm,
made me want to cry because it is legal. And
mm.
I was at a meeting with Nisha the other day, and I said a lot of this stuff is sold at a gas station, and I don't want somebody who works at a gas station, which I have nothing against them, but I don't want them giving me medical advice.
Yes, yes, yes. I
Mhm.
wanted to mention something though, because you told of a very tough story about a baby who died from the fentanyl.
Mhm.
And it wasn't, the baby wasn't using fentanyl, but it was on the countertop. And I think that's what you said. I
Well,
might
it,
have a
it was lower because the baby couldn't reach the counter. They found 9 bags of dope, the police did, within the baby's reach. And they lived in $1 million home. The home, according to the police officers, was disgusting, rotten food, dirty diapers, fecal matter. But the only room that was pristine was Dad's game room, his man cave. The kids couldn't sleep in their bedrooms in their $1 million home because it was filthy. So it breaks my heart.
I think, yeah, and I think the story that I'm thinking about is I wanted you just to address really quickly, because we won't be before you guys very much longer, but I wanted just you to address really quickly how they're lacing weed with other things, with other drugs that are harmful, where you're thinking you're just smoking some weed, but it could turn into something very dangerous. And I know that a lot of youth are not on Facebook, they may be on TikTok or they may be on Instagram, and we may do an Instagram live, coming in the future. But I just want to say, what do you have to say? How can you just give some type of preventive advice?
So I know marijuana does have some medical um, uses. My
Right.
sister died and was very sick with cancer, and the doctor recommended I get some ointment from the dispensary to put between her bottom lip and her gum, and that was the only thing that stopped her from vomiting. The cancer had gone to her bones, and before every time she would vomit, bones would break. So I have no problem with people using it in a medical setting. What I do have problems with is people buying it on the street. I had twin boys 3 years ago. I don't remember. They were smoking what they thought was weed. It was mixed actually with LSD, and they had some really bad trips. One of them ended up in the hospital. They had to restrain him. So you don't know what's in it. You have no idea. If you bake a cake and you do it from scratch and you're stirring, well, there might be some little bubbles in there or little clumps of something that you didn't stir well enough. Well, when they're manufacturing these drugs, they're doing it a lot of times in the open air, birds flying over, they're just stirring things. If you would see some of the drug labs, I hate to use that word, um, manufacturing places in South America, you would be shocked,
Mm,
absolutely shocked. And like I said, we work closely with law enforcement. We work with the DEA. And if any of your viewers are available on February 6th at 7 o'clock at the New Lenox Village Hall, Special Agent Greg Chakowski will be speaking. And he has an amazing story. How he was one of these guys who was the first one to jump out of the helicopter, DEA SWAT, first one through the door, all that. And him and his wife and kids were coming home from somewhere, and a guy walked up to the car and started shooting,
mm,
and hit his wife in the head a couple times, and splattered the kids. And he talks about how he was able to get through this without using drugs. And I mean, he has a lot more to this story, other parts of his life too. I don't want to tell it all. Um, and it's just very powerful that you reach out to people for help, not and you need to feel the feelings and not try to stuff them, because that's going to be, it could be dangerous for you. We
yeah.
are also having the New Lenox police officer who handles the canine, Officer Guidry. She will be bringing the drug sniffing dog Haley, and they will be doing a demonstration also. Hero will be there with some of our trailer props. and information about family support, grief support, all sorts of information. We also have something we call the emoji poster, and it shows what emojis are being used to buy and sell drugs. For
Mm.
example, if I am your dealer and you text me 3 footballs, I know you want 3 oxy. And I could
Mm.
deliver it to you. I could have somebody that works for me deliver it to you, but I could also have DoorDash or what's the other one? Uber Eats. I could have it delivered to you that way too. So you can buy and sell drugs on any social media platform, unfortunately.
Oh wow, I did not know that. I did not know that.
And we also
Wow.
talk about that in the trailer. And there's an app, it's called Tor, Tor. It stands for the onion router. And that's how the kids are getting on the dark web. I met a mom, and her 8-year-old daughter has Tor on her phone. Mom didn't know what it was. So the daughter doesn't have it now. It's a very easy app to download.
So much education, and I think knowledge, I don't think, I know that knowledge is power, and
Definitely.
we cannot prevent something we don't know anything about, and we can't talk about something. And so the thing is that I would love to you all to know, if you're listening and you just caught this, please know that Hero will come to you. She will bring the truck, and they will show up to your business, to your school, to your church, to your prospective places, so that you can know and be aware and have the knowledge to know how not only you can save lives, but also how you can be aware of where things can be hidden, and what drugs are doing to kill our next generation, but also our present generation as well. So Jan, thank you so much. Do you have any last words? I want you all to make sure you look at the screen and get her number, Jan Dombrowski, because you will be able to connect with her, and it will be, you will not be disappointed. Any last words, Jan?
I do have a couple things. So our trailer is free of charge. We do need 50 feet of space and your agreement that we will not allow anybody in under the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
Hero, our scheduling is first come, first serve. So we're probably going to be doing 100 events this year. If you want the trailer, let me know sooner rather than later. Um, if we also distribute Narcan at all of our trailer events. And after you take a tour of the trailer, we will give you so much information that it's kind of hard to remember everything. So we have this booklet that we pass out and things to look for, especially like over the counter medications that are being abused by like middle school and junior high age kids. They're abusing Mucinex because it gives them a heroin type high. Of course, the
Mm-hmm.
HBP is a cocaine type high. So we go through all that too.
Wow, that's powerful. Well, thank you so much for
You're welcome.
today. Please know we are partnering with Hero, HLM Recovery. Our ROSC is partnering with Hero so that we can make people aware. We are a faith-based organization, and I know, just as my youth pastor at my church was unaware what Narcan was, and I was unaware some years ago, I think that there are a lot of people that are naive to what's going on, and then you hear tragic news and you're like, oh my gosh, but the life could have been saved. And so I definitely want you all to know that knowledge is power, and I believe that God has connected these resources so that we can be able to save lives and also provide education and preventive care. So thank you so much, Jan, for this evening. Thank you all so much for watching. We want you guys to share this video. Knowledge is power. And remember to connect with heartlifetoday.org. That's heartlifetoday.org. You'll find out all the things we're doing with Heart Life. But go to our recovery page and just check it out. If you need help, if your child needs help through mental health support systems or substance use disorder support systems. And don't think that anything is too big or too small. If you have the slightest inkling that something is going on within your house or within your friend's house or something, by all means reach out and get the support and the help that you need. So thank you, Jan, for today. And we
Thank
will
you.
hang tight, and we will talk to you all next time. We will be doing more lives with more information on how we can provide recovery services to our community and beyond.